All right, welcome into the weekly mix stream here. I don't know. I don't remember if we were off last week or the week before, but either way, we are back at it here. Got another cover song this week, a little bit more filled out than the previous week with the Beatles cover here. Lots of background vocals, full drum kit, bass, electrics, acoustic, piano, synth. Should be a fun one here. As always, link at the top of the chat or at the top of the description. You can download the multi-tracks for this song completely for free. You can mix along with the stream, or there's tons of other multi-tracks on that page as well, and you can just download them and use them for your own mixing practice. I do have a little bit of stuff going already, I think, on the mix. On looks like all the background vocals and maybe the lead vocal and keys. A little bit on the electric guitars. So we'll kind of see what we need to do as we move through here. I do have my mix bus processing in already. So the console shaper here, mix bus compressor. I'm still using this guy, but I did jump on, if this is something you do all the time, I'm sure you saw the really good deal on the SSL plugins like a couple weeks ago. They were like $39 or something crazy for the compressor and the channel strip. So I did jump on those. I haven't gotten comfortable enough to use them on my mix bus yet, or even in a mix situation. Still using the soft tube tape machine at the end of the chain here. 5.1 on the B setting, 30 inches per second. And then a limiter at the very, very end of the chain, bumping everything up by 6 dB into a negative 1 dB ceiling. And then I pull my main out down 6 dB to compensate for the volume difference, but I still get that mastered feel. So we're gonna mute everything out here, and we're gonna start with our drums, and we'll start working through that way. It looks like our bass kind of has stuff on it already as well. Here's our kick drum to start. Let's kind of see the biggest part of the song here is probably this third chorus. Looks pretty good here. Yeah, so we'll move at this third chorus. Let's kind of see what work our limiter is doing here. I think I'm going to pull it back one more to 8, and we'll just double up. And maybe even go down to that's not bad. I apologize for any of the sniffling that ends up coming through here. Tightens up the bottom end a little bit there. So, you know what? What I am going to try is I'm going to give the channel strip a shot here. I've been trying to get used to it and use it a little bit more. I haven't quite gotten comfortable with it here. So let's kind of set it up. Let's go 9K. Let's go 3K. That should be fine there. What does this go up to? 2.5. And let's go to 80, although I don't see us boosting down here. what was our high pass at here? We're at about 37, which is pretty usual for me. So let's dial this up to like 37 or so and kind of see if we can do something with this. I'm going to try and use the compressor here too. So we'll go 3 to 1. I'm not crazy about that compressor there. I do want to feel the top end out of though. The compressor's not quite enough for me though. So we're going to stick with the usual here. Still just something I'm experimenting with there. That actually opened up perfectly. Let's put some top on it. I can dig that. And then at the end of the chain here, let's give it a little bottom. I like that. I'm going to pull this back one too. And do the same thing. Lately, I've been feeling like pushing past like 3 and maybe 4 dB of reduction on the limiter on something like a snare drum or a kick drum that has an important transient on it. I don't like the way the transient changes, so I like to keep it under 3. Even if it means I double up. It's kind of the old the old Pensado way of thinking, right? Like instead of doing a whole bunch with one plugin, do a little bit with a couple plugins. Cleans up our snare a little bit there. Let's give it some top. And then a ton of mids here we need. You can see this big dip in the mids. That's feeling good. Let's check our overheads here and kind of see where they're sitting. Flip to mono for a moment. Start with a high pass in place. And then I'm going to pull out a little bit more there. Maybe pull out some of this muddiness. Take a look at our toms. And I'm going to again pull out a ton of this. Give it a little bit of crack here. A little bit of bottom ain't bad. Kind of like that. Our mono room. This has become one of my favorite mics lately on the kit, is just pushing the mono room. Kyle, you notice I don't usually use gates. Yeah, I've never gotten along with a gate, and to me, if you get the mic in the right position, you don't have to fight any bleed. It's kind of a compromise with your drummer as well. If you have somebody that's really laying into stuff, you might have to use a gate, but kind of even in those cases, I tend to go in and edit things down. Like you'll see on the toms, right? These are edited down, so there's no bleed. And then it kind of fades in for the tom hit and then fades out afterwards. It's easier to do on the toms than it is on kick and snare. But yeah, I try to stay away from gates because it feels unnatural to me. But if you can get away with it and if you know how to use them, you can really dial them in. I'm not great at using gates, but it's because I don't use them a lot, so I've never gotten good at them. If you are interested in using gates more, especially on things like snare drum, check out some of like Adam Get Good Nolly's videos on like Get Good Drums, because he uses gates a lot on snare drum. Even if it's like a program snare drum, he'll use gates as well. So if you're interested or curious about getting gates dialed in, check out Nolly. I'm gonna pull out the same kind of thing here. Feel that nice bottom from there. Digging that. The bass actually sounds great. This is something I messed with a little bit on the way in. You can see, so this is our first EQ, rolling off a little bottom, pulling out some of the low mid bite here. That's kind of the headache frequency that'll build up. Boosting a little bit of mid-range bite, and then a ton of top end so we can hear the finger noise and the slap, because it's a slap bass part. Lots of compression. This amount of compression can definitely be scary, and it scares me sometimes still too. But then I'll go watch like CLA or even like Joe Carroll's videos on like Produce Like a Pro, and he'll slam an 1176 on the bass guitar, and then I'm like, okay, I'm doing something that's okay. But don't be afraid to do a lot of compression. Compressing the bottom here. And then boosting bottom at the end. I have this extra guy here, which is a duplication of the bass, and I'm rolling off everything below 180, so kind of like the amp track, but then I'm distorting it all the way with the red light distortion. This to me is kind of like a top end knob for the bass guitar. So once I get the bass kind of dialed in, I can kind of set it low, but the more instruments we add in and the more sound, the more frequency range that gets absorbed, I have the ability to dial this up more if I want to hear more top end on the bass guitar. Yeah, Kyle, not having much success with them either. Right, they mess with the decay and they can mess with the tone, like you're saying there. It's something for me, me and my brother, who's the drummer here in the studio and the guitar player and everything. We work really really hard to get the drum sound dialed in, and then to put a gate on it and either ruin the decay or ruin the attack and the tone of the drum, it's just not something I'm willing to risk to try and get a little bit of bleed out. If you listen here, I'll just listen to the drums. There's not an overwhelming amount of bleed that the cymbals are crazy or that the hi-hat or something's crazy. If you want to keep everything open and natural, besides maybe like the toms, I like to edit out the toms. It helps to not have spot mics on cymbals, I've found. So you notice there's no hi-hat mic and there's no ride mic. If you embrace the bleed from things like your kick and your snare drum, especially the snare drum, after we boost all this top end on snare drum, we get more hi-hat and we get more cymbal noise around the snare drum. So being able to pull up the snare drum and just be okay with the bleed that's there and have it built into your drum sound can be really, really helpful if you're not shying away from the bleed in your kit. So be able to embrace it sometimes would be my advice. So I've added a touch more top end, 9.5 dB boost, rolling off a little bit of lows below 177. And then I push the compressor a little harder because I want the piano to feel more aggressive. It's a digital keyboard, so it's not a live grand. So you don't have the added benefit of having the mics pick up a lot of attack off the piano. So pushing into a compressor like this, I found, has been helpful to get some extra energy and attack out of the piano. So let's dial it in now so it's volume-wise right. Here's our 12 string. It's kind of a nice, it seems to be an Elton John type thing to high a 12 string in the song. Is that our mistake chorus there? It sounds like it. So the second 4 bars of our chorus need a little bit of help from another chorus. Let's give it some top. Kyle, yeah, I'm glad that makes sense. I will say with the not having a hi-hat or ride mic, you will get some drummers that will push back on that. So if you are tracking a lot of drummers, some of them will question like, where's the hi-hat mic, like all this stuff. So something to be careful, something to keep in mind. But glad you're digging the mix so far. Thank you for your comments. Here's our electric. I like that better because there's a lot of top end on the piano, so it leans right. That's sounding good. Well, world needs a hero. New to the channel, just subscribed. So, I love Elton John. I'm a keyboard player, so the piano playing, the vocals, and the arrangements as well. It feels like he's always hiding an acoustic in there. The electric parts are always great. There's always a great bass part, just background vocals, everything all around. Always crafting an awesome song. Since you're new to the channel, make sure you download the multi-tracks. Link at the top of the chat or at the top of the description. You can download these multi-tracks completely for free. You can mix along with the stream. You can just use them for your own mixing practice as well. And there's tons of other multi-tracks on that page as well, completely for free. Here's our synth. Cool. I'm pretty happy. Let's do the lead guitar next here. George, glad to see you in here every week. Yeah, World Needs a Hero. Of course, there's tons of other multi-tracks on that page, and I try to do this every Wednesday at 1 p.m. I try to do this stream every Wednesday, 1 p.m. with new free multi-tracks for you, and you can always follow along with the stream. Lead guitar I want to do next. There's a lead, and then there's a little harmony for the lead. I'm going to roll past some of this low-mid energy, kind of tame it a little bit. I like using this Everest C100A on guitars. Medium attack, fast release. Here's the harmony. If my memory serves me correctly, I think it's like an octaved solo, isn't it? The harmony will serve us perfectly there. So let's kind of see what's going on with the harmony here. Let's blend that in. So here's the rundown of what's on the vocal so far. A little bit of EQ at the front here, rolling off everything below about 200. Big boost up at 8K, 9.5 dB boost. Give it some air, give it some top end, some breath. Lots of compression.
I'm still standing, better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid.
You can tell I love squashing things with this 1176. One of my favorites by PreSonus here. De-essing.
I'm still standing, better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid.
So everything above 4K here on the multiband 20:1. Fast attack, fast release at negative 22 there.
I'm still standing, better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. You could never know what it's like. Your blood like a winter freeze, just like ice. And there's a cold lonely light that shines from you. You whine about the wreck you hide behind that mask you use.
A little bit of slap.
And did you think this fool could never win? Well, look at me, I'm coming back again. I got it. And did you think this? You could never know what it's like. Your blood like a winter freeze, just like ice. And there's a cold lonely light that shines from you. You whine about the wreck you hide behind that mask you use. You could never know what it's like. Your blood like a winter freeze, just like ice. And there's a cold lonely light that shines from you. You whine about the wreck you hide behind that mask you use. And did you think this fool could never win? Well, look at me, I'm coming back again. I got a taste of love in a simple way. And if you need to know where I'm still standing, you just fade away. But don't you know I'm still standing, better than I ever thought it's like. Your blood like a winter freeze, just like ice. And there's a cold lonely light that shines from you. You whine about the wreck you hide behind that mask you use. And did you think this fool could never win? Well, look at me, I'm coming back again. I got a taste of love in us. And did you think this fool could never win? Well, look at me, I'm coming back again. I got a taste of love in a simple way. And did you think this fool could never win? Well, look at me, I'm coming back again. I got a taste of love in a simple way. And if you need to know where I'm still standing, you just fade away. from you. You wind up like the wreck you hide behind that mask you use. And did you think this fool could never win? Well, look at me, I'm a coming back again. I got a taste of love
Always, and if you need to know while I'm still standing,
I'm still standing, you just fade away. But don't you know I'm still standing, better than I ever did. Looking like a troop, you could never know what it's like. Your blood like a winter freeze, just like ice. And there's a cold lonely light that shines from you. You wind up like the wreck you hide behind that mask you use. Need to know why I'm still standing, you just fade away. But don't you know I'm still standing, better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. Love was just a circus, you'd be a clown by now. But don't you know I'm still standing, better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time. Need to know why I'm still standing, you just fade away. But don't you know I'm still standing on my mind. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. You just fade away. But don't you know I'm still standing, better than I ever did. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. I'm still I'm still standing. I'm still standing on my mind. I'm still standing. Threats you made were meant to cut me down. And if our love was just a circus, you'd be a clown by now. But don't you know I'm still standing, better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing.
Okay, I'm happy with the sound of the background vocals. The only thing that's bothering me about them at the moment is the volume of the ahs versus the volume of the actual like sing-along words, the actual harmony words. So I might go in with like a mix tool and automate the ahs down. But I think I'm at a point where I like the level of the harmony parts, like in the verses and in the reintro sections. Let me run you through what's going on these. So it's kind of like a little bit of processing on each of them. So here's our low harmony ones, and these are going to be the same. So the ones that are panned wide will be the same. Rolling everything off below 297. Little bump at 3K, and then a big bump at 8K to give it some top end, some air. Running a compressor on them. So if I hit play here on like the end chorus section, you can kind of see what's going on.
I'm still standing. I'm still standing.
And then a de-esser on the end, looking at everything above 4K. Targeting threshold around like -26 there. And that's going to be the same on the right side. Here's the middle harmony. So same kind of moves here, a little bit bigger bump around 3K, a little bit less up at the top end. So as the vocals get higher, as the harmonies get higher, we need less top end and a little bit more mids. So they cut through and rolling that high pass filter up a little bit more at like 364 there. Same kind of moves with the compressor here.
I'm still standing.
So left side.
I'm still
So you can see pretty much the same on the left and right sides for each harmony. And then here's our high harmony. Again, same kind of boost up in the top end and in the mid-range here, rolling our high pass up even further to almost 400, 390 here. Here is our 1176 compressor.
I'm still standing.
That's our left side. Here's our right side.
I'm still standing. I'm still standing.
And then on the actual bus for all the background vocals, I've just got a high pass at about 200, 195, and then I am running Soothe here as well, just to grab any nasty frequencies.
I'm still standing. I'm still standing.
This is one new plugin that I got that I'm actually getting comfortable using. I don't have it perfect yet, where I pull it in and I kind of get what I want out of it immediately, but it's something that's kind of come out of necessity for me. Doing mixes every day, spending the amount of time to go in and manually notch harsh frequencies on especially vocals, having something like Soothe to do it automatically and way faster than I could is very, very helpful. So I keep the sharpness all the way up, selectivity is around half here, and then I just dial the depth up till it's pulling anything that's kind of pokey or harsh down to about -12 there or so is where I'm feeling it these days.
I'm still standing. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. You just fade away. But don't you know?
And I've got the same kind of setting going on the lead vocal bus as well, even though there's only one lead vocal sending out there. Nothing going out the end of the chain for the lead vocal as well. The effects I'm sending to for the lead vocal is a slap delay, a plate reverb, and then a stereo delay. So here's the slap delay, just 100 millisecond slap delay, no feedback or anything. But because the analog drive has this extra piece in it, I like to push the drive all the way up on it and get kind of like a distorted tape slap, which is really, really cool. Give some extra energy under the vocal, and then I use the low cut and high cut to make it just the mids there, 100% of course. And then here's the plate reverb. This is actually the A plate from the Lexicon, the 480. This is impulse response of the A plate, which is like the CLA plate. I used to have a preset, but all it is, it's a 2-second plate reverb with 150 millisecond pre-delay. Pushes the reverb out in front of or out behind the vocal, so they're not sitting on top of each other. Makes it a little bit cleaner. And then rolling off everything below 300. Everything above 10K. Sometimes I'll turn that 10K cut off and get some of that nice airy top end, but more often than that I leave it in. And then the last piece of the puzzle is this stereo delay, which I keep tucked really, really low. It just gives our vocal some dimension. And all it is a quarter note delay. And then it's split off by 10 seconds on each side. So this is 336, this is 356. So our quarter note's 346, and we just pan it off by 10 milliseconds on each side. It makes it stereo. 20% feedback. I do the same thing here with the low cut and the high cut, and then 100% on each side here. And then at the very, very end of this stereo delay, I do a sidechain compressor here to make it a dynamic delay, a DDL, and this is just dipping the lead vocal.
I'm still standing, better than I ever did.
This is dipping the delay by 6 dB when the lead vocal's going. So when the vocal's going, the delay is down, and then when the vocal stops, that delay comes up to fill the space in between. So we're just sending from the lead vocal into here. So it's getting the compressor's getting the input from the actual lead vocal there. That's the effects I'm running on the vocal. I think the next piece of the puzzle here is going to be to reference. We're making like incredible time on this one. So I'm going to pull this over to this final chorus here. And we'll loop this first section, kind of see where we're sitting with everything on especially the vocals and drums. I think the music is really, really solid if I do say so myself, but I can be a little bit biased. So I'm going to turn on this EQ on the master bus here, and we're going to look at frequency range by frequency range. And I've got 2 reference tracks that I use on like every mix I do, no matter the genre or anything. To me, a reference track isn't about like trying to match the tones. It's about knowing what it sounds like everywhere. These are 2 songs that I absolutely love. They're by Joe Gilder. So if you know who I am, you probably know Joe. He's who I came up learning with, like back in the day with Graham from Recording Revolution, and then obviously Joe from Home Studio Corner, and the guys from Produce Like a Pro, Pensado's Place. That's how I came up learning. Really love the way Joe mixes, and these are 2 tracks that I've listened to over and over and over again since this record came out, however many years ago now. So I know what these sound like. I know what they sound like here. I know what they sound like on headphones. I know what they sound like in a car. To me, a reference track is having something that you know what it sounds like everywhere, so you have that point of reference. Not about trying to match like, oh, I like the kick drum on this song, so I want to copy the kick drum on this song. It's less about that and more about knowing the frequency balance outside of your mix room. So that's kind of why I use these. I know what they sound like everywhere, pretty much, because I listen to them all the time. We're gonna listen to just the bottom end first here, and I'm gonna kick this up quite a bit volume wise. So if you're listening on subs, keep that in mind. Be a little bit careful here. It's gonna get loud. We're just listening to 50 hertz and below here. Feels okay there. I want to push more bottom end, but I want to listen to the range above it here. So this is 50 to 100 now. I'm happy with that. Okay. Bottom end feels good to me there. We're going to move up and we're going to look at the super, super highs now. I used to kind of just move up frequency range by frequency range, but frequency range by frequency range, excuse me. But I've since moved to super, super lows to super, super highs. Kind of shocks my ears, wakes them back up a little bit. I'm happy with that. That sounds good up on the top end. Let's move down here. So 5K to 10K here now. I actually like where the vocal was. A little bit extra on the kick drum. Same thing on the snare. Better there, checking the wide pan there. Tamed down the acoustic guitar a little bit with a multi-band. Here's 2K to 5K now. Little bit of 3K there, but not too much. Sounding good. So let's do 1K to 2K now. Sounded really, really good there. Added a touch more high mid area on the vocal. Alex, you're new to mixing. Which DAW would I recommend for Windows? I would still actually recommend Studio One for Windows. My brother, who does a lot of guitar tracking, uses Studio One on the other side of the studio, and he's running like a big Windows like gaming style computer. As long as the computer is powerful enough, like to support your DAW, it kind of doesn't matter whether you're on Mac or Windows. But I'm always going to recommend Studio One. I love Studio One, but he's running it on a Windows computer over there, and it's working fabulously, no issues or anything, and it doesn't give us any problems working back and forth, even though I'm on a Mac. So he does a lot of guitar tracking over there, and then we'll bring it over here and do like drums and the rest of the songs over here. But yeah, I'm still going to recommend Studio One, even if you're on Windows. Good question. Sounded good there too. I don't know if I want to add that, but we'll see. I'm happy with that. That sounds good there. I was thinking about thickening the piano up a little bit there, but we might do it down in this range instead. I'm going to pull back just a touch of thickness on the snare drum, I think. That's better. Okay, that's better. Let's move back here now and let's get these background vocals kind of settled in. I think I like them everywhere except for the ahs.
I'm still standing, better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. Need to know why I'm still standing. You just fade away. But I'm still standing. I'm still standing. Circus, you've been clown by now. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind.
So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to automate this so it's on.
The pieces of my life without you.
The opposite way, though. So we want this to be active during
Survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after.
There we go.
Survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. Once I never could have hoped to win. You're starting down the road and leaving me again. The threats you made were meant to cut me down. And if our love was just a circus, you'd be a clown by now. But don't you know I'm still standing, better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. But don't you know I'm still standing, better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. I'm still standing.
That's feeling really, really good. We have one little piece we're going to add here, which is going to be our parallel compression bus. As always, though, as we're getting towards the end of the mix here, if you're just joining in, or if this is just where you're jumping into the stream, make sure you download the multi-tracks completely for free. The link's at the top of the chat or at the top of the description. You can download these multi-tracks completely for free, mix along with the stream, just use them for your own mixing practice as well. The song is called I'm Still Standing. You can see the key and the BPM down here, but they'll also be included in the actual file that you download with all the multi-tracks. There's tons of other multi-tracks on that page as well that you can download and have lots of fun with. So let's dial in this parallel compression bus. All this is I'm sending from the actual mix bus into this mix B, which is just a 33609 compressor, and it's set at 8 and 10, so the threshold's at 10, the gain's at 8, because we're going to be doing about 7 to 10 dB reduction here, 100 millisecond recovery, 2-to-1 ratio, and then an EQ after that, bumping 3 dB of 60 and 3 dB of 7. So take a listen here. We're just going to blend this in, and it's going to give our track a little extra oomph overall.
I'm still standing, better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing, better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up. I'm still standing, better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. I'm still standing.
So let's see where we want to put our fade out here. So we're at 3:14. So if we come back to like 3 or so, or maybe one before, let's just fade out from there. Kind of see where everything sits here.
I'm still standing. I'm still standing.
That works for me. Let's check our intro, make sure everything's okay here. Drums are sitting over, so let's trim those back. And let's check our start point here. Maybe a little bit forward.
Without you on my mind, I'm still standing. I'm still standing. But don't you know I'm still standing?
All right, so I'm gonna kick everything up here now, and I'm gonna listen to the song all the way through at full volume. So just the volume on the stream. So the volume will be the same for you here on the stream, but it's gonna be louder for me now. And we're gonna listen all the way through the track, and then I'll do it probably one more time, but on the mains here in the room. So on the headphones first, let's see how everything's sounding.
You could never know what it's like. Your blood like a winter freeze, just like ice. And there's a cold and lonely light that shines from you. You wind up like the wreck you hide behind that mask you use. And did you think this fool could never win? Well, look at me, I'm a coming back again. I got a taste of love in a simple way. And if you need to know why I'm still standing, you just fade away. But don't you know I'm still standing, better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. Once I never could have hoped to win. You're starting down the road and leaving me again. The threats you made were meant to cut me down. And if our love was just a circus, you'd be a clown by now. Or don't you know I'm still standing, better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing. I'm still standing.
All right. I'm really, really liking that so far. So we're going to do one final listen through. We'll do it on the mains. I bumped the vocal up there, and I bumped the background vocals down a click, so kind of a little bit of evening there on those. I'm going to take a quick bathroom break here before we listen through one more time, but we're going to call it here after we listen through. All right, so finishing up here, we're going to listen through the entire mix one more time, but on the mains here in the room. It's sounding really, really good. I'm happy with how it sounds on my headphones here. We're going to kick it up through the big speakers here in the room, the studio monitors, and this gives me the opportunity to kind of mess with the master fader here a little bit, running it to the studio monitors, listen at a higher volume, listen at a lower volume, and it's not going to affect the volume on the stream or anything. It's just going to give me a chance to kind of ride things up and down and see where everything's sitting volume-wise. I can listen at a really, really low volume, and that always gives me a better idea of the balance of the entire track. And then I can listen at a higher volume, and that'll let me know if anything's sticking out, if anything's harsh or pokey or anything like that. But we're going to listen through here on the mains, so I'm going to mute my mic, and here's another listen through.
Blood like a winter freeze, just like ice. And there's a cold and lonely light that shines from you. You wind up like the wreck you hide behind that mask you use. And did you think this fool could never win? Well, look at me, I'm coming back again. I got a taste of love in a simple way. And if you need to know why I'm still standing, you just fade away. But don't you know I'm still standing, better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. Once I never could have hoped to win. You're starting down the road and leaving me again. The threats you made were meant to cut me down. And if our love was just a circus, you'd be a clown by now. Or don't you know I'm still standing, better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing. I'm still standing.
All right, I'm happy with that. That's sounding really really good. Levels felt really really good. The only thing I changed there at the end was I bumped the background vocals up, and then I pulled back the mix tool here. So when they're doing ahs, they're going to be a little bit quieter, and then when they're doing the harmony vocals, they'll be a little bit louder. So the yeah yeah yeahs a little bit louder, fills in that gap better. I'm happy with everything. The vocal sat really really nicely. I was looking at Soothe there. It felt a touch harsh in the verses, but when I kicked up the volume on the mains, it felt okay to me. Guitar solo felt good. The drums and bass felt really, really good, along with the piano as well. So I am happy with this one here. Big Cookies OSA, I think is what that says. I'm glad you like it. Glad it's sounding great. I think it sounds really, really good as well. Make sure you download the multi-tracks. Link at the top of the chat or at the top of the description. You can get these multi-tracks completely for free, and you can come back. You can mix along with the stream here, or you can just use them for your own mixing practice. And as always, there's tons and tons of other multi-tracks on that page from all of these past streams with links back to the stream. So if you need some extra help mixing, you can follow along with some of these streams, or you can just download all these tracks and use them for your own practice to get better and better. I hope these are helpful for you. Every Wednesday at 1 p.m., I'm trying to jump on here and do a new song with you guys, but that's going to do it for this one. I'm pretty happy with how that track is sounding. We're going to call it there. Thank you so much for joining me for another mixing stream. Make sure you grab those multi-tracks, and I will see you in the next one very, very soon.